Okay, let's just dive right in. If you're a Muslim parent today, you know the digital world is, well, it's a huge dilemma. I mean, on one hand, it's this amazing gateway to knowledge, but on the other, it's a minefield of risks we never had to think about. So, how do we guide our children through all of that while holding tight to our faith? That's the big question we're tackling today. And look, this is not a small thing we're talking about. A study from UAN Sunan Kalajaga found that a staggering 71.3% of school-age kids spend a long time on their gadgets. That's just the reality now. It's the new normal. And that means we need a new game plan for parenting. And this really frames the problem perfectly, doesn't it? Technology is absolutely a double-edged sword. It can bring amazing Islamic lectures right into our homes, but it also opens the door to values that just don't align with our faith, to things like cyberbullying, and to so many distractions that can pull our kids away from their prayers and their spiritual duties. So that brings us right to the heart of it, the central question of this whole explainer. In this world of endless scrolling, how on earth do we raise kids who are not just digitally smart, but spiritually strong? If you're asking yourself this question, believe me, you are not alone. And the good news is, there is a framework to help us. So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to define what Islamic digital parenting even is. Then we'll break it down into three core pillars: building the foundation, taking active guidance, and being the role model. And finally, we'll see how it's all about building something much, much bigger than just a set of rules. All right, let's get into the core concept. What exactly are we talking about when we use this term, Islamic digital parenting? First off, this isn't just some catchy phrase someone made up. It's a real concept with serious academic backing. It's been explored in depth in research, like this thesis right here from the State Islamic University in Yogyakarta. So, this approach has a really solid, thoughtful foundation. And here it is. The key thing to understand is that this is so much more than just setting screen time limits. It's a whole philosophy. It's about weaving our faith, our morality, our ethics, and most importantly, our God consciousness, our taqwa, into every single digital interaction. It's about teaching our kids to feel Allah's presence, whether they're in the masjid or they're in cyberspace. And this chart just lays out the difference so clearly. You see, a lot of secular parenting focuses on the outside stuff: rules, filters, safety settings, all to avoid danger. And that's important. But Islamic digital parenting includes all that, while its main goal is internal. It's all about building a child's character, their inner moral compass that's grounded in faith. That way, they make the right choices even when you're not looking over their shoulder. So let's get into our first pillar. This is all about the foundation. I love this idea of thinking of it as building your child's inner spiritual firewall. This is the proactive stuff, the character-building work that has to happen before we even get to the rules. And where does that firewall start? It starts with the most basic thing imaginable: consumption. And I don't just mean what they consume with their eyes and ears online. I mean what they consume physically, too. The sources link this idea directly to the Quran. This ayah from Surah Al-Baqarah reminds us to eat what is halal and tayyib, lawful and good. The principle here is powerful. The food we provide, earned through halal means, literally shapes our children. It builds their bodies, their personalities, and their spiritual health. It's the fuel for a pure heart. So along with that physical nourishment, we build their spiritual foundation. This means introducing them to Allah and prayer when they're young, but in a simple, loving way, not as a chore. We teach them core values like patience and responsibility, and a really key concept here is sifat malu, that inner sense of modesty, which is such a powerful shield against the oversharing culture online. And of course, we praise them for the good they do, and when they mess up, we advise them gently, not with harsh criticism. Okay, so once that strong internal foundation is in place, we can move to pillar 2, active guidance. This is where we get into the practical, hands-on strategies for the real world of smartphones and tablets. This is where the rubber meets the road. Step 1, set clear boundaries. This isn't about being a dictator, it's about protecting secret family time. Tech-free zones around the dinner table or before bed. Step 2, filter and supervise. These are your digital guardrails. Use those parental controls. They're there for a reason. But it's not enough to just block the bad stuff, which brings us to step 3. Teach digital literacy. This is about empowerment. Show them the good stuff online, the beneficial Islamic content, and teach them how to spot fakes and misinformation. And finally, step 4, promote offline activities. The best defense against too much screen time is a rich, engaging, fun life off the screen. And that brings us to our third and final pillar. And honestly, this one might be the most powerful of all: the role model. This is about us. It's about embodying the very teachings we want to see in our kids, following the example of our prophet, peace be upon him. This beautiful hadith really gets to the heart of it. Teaching isn't about lecturing our kids on what's right and wrong. It's about living the example. Our children are always watching us. They are far more likely to do what we do than what we say. And the life of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is just filled with these incredible examples. When he saw a boy eating the wrong way, he didn't shame him. He corrected him gently, preserving his dignity. He showed affection openly, teaching us all that mercy is a strength. He even shortened his prayer when he heard a baby crying, showing this deep empathy. This is our model: gentleness, love, and patience. And that's exactly how we should approach our kids' digital mistakes too. So, we've walked through the 3 pillars: the foundation, the guidance, and the role model. But what's the end game here? What is the ultimate goal of putting all of this work in? It might not be what you think. And this right here is the ultimate takeaway. The goal is not to achieve perfect 24/7 control over every single thing your child does online. I mean, that's impossible. The real goal, the true prize, is to build a strong, open, faith-centered connection with them. A relationship built on trust is the best protection they could ever have. Because when they know they can come to you without fear, you've built the ultimate firewall. And that leaves us with this final thought to chew on. By putting these principles into practice, we can start to shift our whole perspective. So instead of just seeing technology as this source of stress and anxiety in our homes, how can we, as Muslim families, start to transform it into a tool for learning, for connection, and, inshallah, a genuine source of blessing?